I don't enjoy it. I do not. Simply because I've spent so much time trying to get this little off the ledge.
It's a part of the hip hop culture. Like they think that they are telling something, or just mind your business.
That's 50 Cent.
That's 50 Cent. And that right there is the exact culture Katt Williams stepped into when he decided he had something to say. 50 had footage. 50 had a documentary loading in the chamber. 50 had a target. Meanwhile, Katt had a Netflix special, a MIC, and Zero Fear. So, here's what the footage actually hit, who it buried, and why the culture clamped up while it was happening. This whole saga kicked off with a challenge no one saw coming. Late February 2026, T.I., born Clifford Harris, started calling out 50 Cent publicly, loud and unfiltered. 50 didn't just ignore it. He fired back in a way that instantly escalated the drama, king rap memes, social media clowning. T.I., never one to back down, went straight for the jugular. He dropped bars targeting 50's most untouchable wound, his late mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in a fire when 50 was only 8. Cold, personal, and unforgiving. 50 didn't respond with a verse. He responded with action. On March 5, 2026, he posted a screenshot on Instagram with the headline, 50 Cent reportedly developing Surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary. His caption read, "Remember how quiet I got before the previous doc? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." Then he deleted it, but by then, the screenshot had already gone viral. The internet exploded. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Channels flooded timelines with titles like 50 Cent leaks episode 1 of T.I. documentary, and it's devastating. The timing couldn't have been worse. T.I. was mid-rollout for Kill the King, his retirement album meant to cement his legacy. Suddenly, the album was overshadowed by footage from a documentary that hadn't even dropped yet. Clips of court appearances, prison stints, and old interviews from the ugliest chapters of T's legal history resurfaced. Weapons charges, probation violations, federal custody stints. But this wasn't history, it was being framed as current receipts, as if 50 had cracked open a vault that was never supposed to see daylight. The effectiveness of the footage wasn't just in the content, it was in the context. Viewers weren't watching archival clips. They were seeing a present-day verdict being handed down. Strip the dates off a court clip, sandwich it between screenshots of 50 Cent's captions, and it stops reading as history, it reads as evidence. Hundreds of thousands of people reacted like it was unfolding live. The internet was in a frenzy. Comments flooded in. The narrative that T's past was back in full force hit harder than any song could. Then T's sons entered the scene, and the firestorm reached a new level. Demony Harris released Ms. Jackson, sampling Outkast, directly targeting 50 Cent with bars about how he'd been dragging the family into the drama. King Harris didn't hold back either. He launched Drop Top, packaged CBD bags branded Ms. Jackson with a photograph of 50 Cent's deceased mother, Sabrina Jackson, emblazoned on the packaging. The tagline read, "I've been smoking on M. Jackson since the number posted." This wasn't just rap beef anymore. It was a public confrontation that crossed into cultural shockwaves, turning a family tragedy into a viral flashpoint. The fallout forced T.I. into the public eye in a way he had tried to avoid. On March 3, 2026, he appeared on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show. What came out of that chair wasn't a calculated PR play. It was a father with nowhere left to stand, a man confronting a barrage of public scrutiny aimed squarely at his family. He addressed the personal attacks, the legacy of his career, and the way social media and celebrity culture had turned private pain into viral fodder. By the time the dust settled on this chapter, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a battle between rappers. It was a collision of social media, legacy, family, and culture. 50 Cent had leveraged footage, narrative, and context in a way that changed the conversation. T.I. had been forced to navigate a media landscape where history was weaponized and sentiment spread faster than any press release. The interplay of these events, T's challenge, 50 Cent's viral strikes, and his son's responses, created a cultural moment that wouldn't be forgotten, a reminder of how power, pain, and personal history collide in hip-hop.
Now he has justifiable means to undo all of the teachings that I've been teaching.
Got it.
I do not like this. No, I do not enjoy it. I don't enjoy it. I do not. Simply because I've spent so much time trying to get this little off the ledge. And now he has justifiable means to undo all of the teachings that I've been teaching. Man, to be honest with you, bro, I said that's enough. Really, I said that's enough when I seen that damn t-shirt.
One deleted post, one Instagram caption, and it cracked open a family, torched an album rollout, and had T.I. on camera admitting his son now had a reason to throw out everything T.I. spent years building in him. That is the weight of what 50 Cent dropped and how he built the entire move, from that first deleted post to footage flooding timelines. Most people slept on this because 50 Cent has run this play before. T.I. of all people should have known what quiet from 50 actually means. That's where we need to start. 50 Cent's playbook. Understand something crucial. He doesn't need a finished product to do damage. He needs a credible threat, the right moment, and an audience that already knows he follows through. All three aligned perfectly. That caption wasn't accidental. Remember how quiet I got before the other doc? Anyone who read it knew exactly what it meant. 50 Cent executive produced one of the most damaging documentaries in recent hip-hop memory. He went quiet before that one too. Dame Dash thought he wasn't coming. He came. So when 50 dropped that same line toward T.I., the message was implicit. Your situation mirrors the last, and my track record shows I see these things through. Genius lies in subtlety. No direct threat necessary. The audience connects the dots. The deleted post? Not a mistake. It was the plan. It was meant to be screenshot, spread, and discussed long after it vanished. Deletion amplified the threat. It screamed, whatever is coming is too serious to announce publicly. The quiet is the warning. That precision turned a 30-second Instagram post into weeks of viral heat. YouTube channels, some with only a few thousand subscribers, started posting episode 1 and exclusive footage videos, racking hundreds of thousands of views. Old court clips, prison footage, interviews, cut together with narration, presented as leaked material. A full documentary wasn't needed. The suspense alone carried the weight. Timing against T's Kill the King rollout wasn't coincidence. Promo cycles are the most exposed moments for a rapper. Every interview, every appearance, every question is on record. Drop a crisis into that window, and there is no neutral lane. Respond and you surrender your narrative. Ignore it, and it looks like you're running from the truth. The Jasmine brand documented 50's caption explicitly, calling out 20 assault cases, targeting the most legally toxic chapters of T.I. and Tiny's story, just as T.I. was attempting to close that chapter. Earweb confirmed, the rollout and the T's collided perfectly. The documentary doesn't even need to drop. That deleted post is permanently embedded in T's story. Every future interview, every retrospective, every time someone Googles his name, the question lingers. What did 50 have? Was the footage real? The ambiguity stacks. 50 has been in the media long enough to know the damage peaks not at impact but in the unresolved suspension between threat and answer. The audience speculates, clicks pile up, and a 30-second caption fuels weeks of viral traction. By March 20th, 2026, 50 had gone quiet. But in his world, quiet is not retreat, it's prelude. T.I. knows the difference between 50 walking away and 50 loading up. That quiet costs T.I. daily. No documentary aired. No confirmed footage exists. And yet, the threat permanently attaches itself to his name, shaping every promo, every journalist, every retrospective. T's sons stepping in didn't simplify anything. When they entered, the beef shifted from calculated back and forth to something raw, emotional, and uncontrollable. Demony Harris dropped Ms. Jackson, sampling Outkast and calling out 50 over family disrespect. That was firm, still inside rap's rules. A son protecting his people. King Harris escalated further. He launched Drop Top, selling CBD bags branded Ms. Jackson with Sabrina Jackson's photo printed directly on the packaging. I've been smoking on M. Jackson since the number posted my mother. Sabrina Jackson died in a fire when 50 Cent was 8. That loss is in 50's music, interviews, and public story. T.I. had already targeted it in a song, but King Harris made it tangible, commercialized, undeniable. The t-shirt, the packaging, it turned respect into participation. T.I. admitted on camera, "Man, I said that's enough. All those years, all that discipline, crossed the line." Every lesson, every redirection, every code he taught his children collided with King Harris turning a dead woman's name into a badge, a trophy, a flag planted in forbidden territory. This is where psychological strategy, family, and legacy intersected with hip-hop in a way only 50 Cent could orchestrate. One caption, one deleted post, one calculated pause, an entire culture watched it unfold.
Man, bro, like, man, listen, man. I'm a logical, reasonable man of respect, bro. And I raise my children to be men of respect, logical, reasonable, and not to be emotional.
This isn't about a single moment. This is a long-running operation. T.I. spent years teaching King Harris how to navigate situations that could end careers, end freedom, end futures. He built walls around pride, loyalty, and family, keeping his son from the kind of thinking that tips a situation from protective into destructive. And now, King has justifiable means to undo all of that. Every post 50 Cent made about Tiny, every documentary threat, every public drag became a reason King could point to and say, "I had to act." All the lessons T.I. taught about staying away from the dead and sacred in a beef became something King could legally, morally, and emotionally bypass. T.I. built the wall. 50 handed King the door, and King walked straight through it. People.com and Billboard covered T's explicit regret over his sons getting involved. A father who had been proud of their instincts was left destroyed by their execution. He could credit their courage, not the consequences. And he had to process all of this publicly. There were no private conversations left to manage. Everything had already moved too fast. Too many cameras, too many eyes. The parenting conversation happened on a radio show, meaning King Harris and everyone watching heard T's verdict at the exact same time. That's the cost of a beef that outlives the people who started it. It falls on the next generation. King's position is rarely discussed enough. He grew up seeing his father navigate high-stakes rap life, prison bids, federal beefs, label wars, and come out standing every time. So when 50 began posting about Tiny, allegations, and a documentary, King didn't see a media campaign. He saw a threat to his family that his father appeared unwilling, or unable, to neutralize. From a son's perspective, strategy is secondary. You react. You protect. You go further than your father did because the danger feels immediate. And 50 Cent, intentionally or not, provided King all the fuel he needed. My mother first. That simple message became the justification T.I. had feared, the very thing he had tried to shield his son from. There was no stopping it privately. T.I. eventually had no choice but to address it publicly. March 3, 2026. The Ebro Laura Rosenberg Show. T.I. walked into that chair carrying everything at once. A documentary threat that had embedded itself in his name without a single episode confirmed, a retirement album, Kill the King, intended to cement his legacy, now overshadowed by crisis management, a wife whose name had been dragged into the conflict, and 2 sons who had acted in ways he could not undo. There's a difference between a rapper doing an interview and a man doing an interview. Rappers pivot, smooth over talking points, land only what's expected. T.I. that day didn't have that luxury. He was a father, exposed and vulnerable, weighed down by a situation that had already escaped his control. He was forced to confront the reality of a conflict that had grown beyond music, beyond reputation, and into the sacred ground of family and legacy. The lesson? Even the best walls can be bypassed if the right door is left open, and 50 Cent made sure that door existed.
And to be honest with you, bro, I said that's enough. Really, I said that's enough when I seen that damn t-shirt.
Feel the gap in that sentence. Logical, reasonable, respectful. That's the man T.I. knows himself to be. None of those words describe the situation he was trapped in. Beef isn't logical. Documentary threats aren't reasonable. Watching your son's retaliation unfold, and then having to walk it back on national radio, isn't respectful. Not to the other side, not to yourself, not to the process. T.I. was describing himself by the very qualities the situation had already stripped away. And he knew it. That's why it landed so hard. The control he thought he had, the boundaries he'd spent years teaching his sons, gone. All of it was being rewritten in real time, by forces he couldn't pause or redirect. Then came the t-shirt. And to be honest with you, bro, I said that's enough. Really? I said that's enough when I seen that damn t-shirt. That's enough isn't PR language. It isn't a crisis comms phrase. It isn't calculated. That's the sound of a person watching something happen right in front of them and feeling it physically, recognizing the moment the situation has moved beyond their control. King Harris put on that t-shirt. And in that instant, T.I. lost the ability to stand between his sons and the consequences of what they were doing. No blog post. No leaked clip. No threatening caption. Just a t-shirt. That was the moment. The one instance when theory, strategy, and preparation collapsed under the raw reality of family, pride, and the unpredictable nature of legacy. The gap between what T.I. had built and what was happening in front of him became impossible to ignore. It wasn't just a t-shirt. It was the tipping point.
Chill out. Because again, I'm big on treating people the way I want to be treated.
Right.
I don't be out here just doing unto others in ways I don't want to be done. And so I don't want to see my children doing others the way, but they like, man, this is in response.
Right.
I'm like, man, but it's over with.
The golden rule as a de-escalation signal. T.I. did two things at once with one sentence, telling 50 Cent to lower the temperature, and telling King Harris where his father draws the line. Do unto others. Everything after that crosses the line I've been teaching you about since you were a kid. The simplest sentence in the whole interview was also the most genuine. Coverage from the Giole.com and Billboard captured the same through line. This wasn't performance. T.I. wasn't selling anything. He was in the middle of a situation he couldn't manufacture his way out of. Hip-hop has a long tradition of performed pain, conflict time for streams, drama built for engagement. What broke from that tradition here was the specificity, the justifiable means to undo years of teaching. Nobody says it because it lands well. You say it because it's the most honest description of what you're losing. And the part that doesn't get enough credit? That T.I. even showed up. He could have gone dark, let a publicist issue a statement nobody would believe. Instead, he sat in that chair and faced it like a man who knew running from the conversation would cost him more than having it. That choice, to show up, say the hard thing, face it in public, that's the measure of the moment.
I see King, how he moving. It's emotional, and I know, and me too, you know what I'm saying? Me too. You know, you drag the matriarch of our household into some nonsense. So the one thing that I am proud of out of all of this is that the women and children in our family see that it's a line of men.
I see.
That's here.
That's the exact code T.I. was trying to pass down to King. Handle it with integrity. Don't let the situation strip you of who you are. And he modeled it himself. Even with everything burning around him, the documentary threat, the social media storm, the public pressure, he demonstrated the lesson he couldn't get King to follow. That's the tragedy of the March 20th, 2026 interview in one sentence. T.I. was still in the Kill the King rollout, 50 Cent was quiet, and the documentary hadn't dropped. Everything was unresolved, hanging over his career, his family, and his legacy. Then there's Katt Williams. Early 2026, he dropped Katt Williams, the last report on Netflix, roasting 50 mercilessly, landing the line, even 50 Cent turned against me. You don't want him as an enemy. He joked about 50's documentary style, the trailer, not the vault, and the internet ran with it. Clickbait channels stacked his credibility onto the T.I. drama, implying insider knowledge, generating views before viewers could question it. Katt wasn't involved with the documentary, but his reputation for truth-telling and calling out silence in the industry made him the perfect name to insert into the narrative. T.I. and 50's story was real. The pain was real. The threat, the sons, the footage, the interview, all real. Katt's name just amplified attention. The algorithm rewarded the quiet, the culture of silence, and the clicks kept stacking.
Part of the hip hop culture, like they think that they are telling something, or just mind your business type of thing. Like, so if there's no, other than that, you would look, if I wasn't saying the things that you've heard me say, there would be nothing being said at all. So it'd just be, you would assume that the culture is for those behaviors.
That clip opened this video, and it closes it too, because that's the story in one sentence. The code that keeps everyone watching from the sidelines while a man's legacy unravels in real time, while fathers and sons clash publicly, while footage circulates, and nobody with real knowledge speaks. That's hip-hop right now. That's the reality we're in. If you found this video insightful, check out any of the cards on your screen to dive deeper into the story, the drama, and the moves shaping the culture today.